We should always be proud of being Filipino-Americans here in the U.S. But every October, now more than ever, mas lalo pong napapaigting ang pag-aalab ng ating mga damdamin na tayo po ay kababayan na nakatira dito sa Amerika. Because every October, we celebrate Filipino-American Heritage Month. For those of you like myself na lumipat lang po dito mula sa Pilipinas, it's time to get to know our roots dito naman po sa Amerika. And we all know that 25% of all the Filipinos living in the U.S. live here in Southern California. But here in Southern California, we're also everywhere. Filipinos in Carson, Filipinos in West Covina, Filipinos everywhere, including Filipinos in Ventura. And it's not just geographic segmentation. It's also now a book courtesy of Elnora Tayag. Hello and welcome to Kababayan, LA.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me.
We've talked about Filipinos in Hollywood, Filipinos in the South Bay before. Is this book the same? It's from the same publisher, and is that from the same series?
Yes, it's from the Images of America series by Arcadia Publishing, and essentially I went out and collected photographs that told the history of Filipinos in Ventura County.
So tell us about the history of Filipinos in Ventura County.
A lot of them started out as farm workers. Some of them were educated from the Philippines but weren't allowed to get any jobs because of the discrimination, and worked in the fields and eventually became business owners. The communities got organized. They were advocates for one another. They had children who went to college, got educated, became engineers. So it's really like the telling of an American story.
Right, I'm getting goosebumps listening to your story. So they weren't allowed to get regular jobs. They were just designated to being farmers, but then eventually they became business owners. How far back is the history of Filipinos in Ventura?
They go back to the early 1900s. We even had some pensionados that were living in Huaynimi, and a lot of the families, and one of the oldest organizations in Ventura County is about 80 years old, started in the 1920s.
Wow. Now, when you say pensionados, not a lot of people are familiar with that term. Who are the pensionados? What are they?
Pensionados are government-sponsored students from the Philippines who come to America. They spent 1 year of high school in California, and then they went off to colleges in the East Coast to return back to the Philippines to have government positions.
Right. And when you say they eventually established their own businesses, what kind of businesses were Kababayans into at that time in Ventura?
Well, we had two entrepreneurs.
Two?
Yeah. Well,
not one, but two. Okay.
Well, the earliest ones.
Okay.
And that would be the Omo family and the De La Rosa family. And between the two of them, each of them had like about 10 to 12 businesses during their lifetime.
Wow.
So we're talking about restaurants, pool halls, barbershops.
You know, this is nice and encouraging to know, because even now in these times, we always encourage people, viewers of Kababayan LA, to get into business, because it's really, you know, being diverse. We shouldn't just segment ourselves into or limit ourselves into professional careers. You know, we should also get into business and all of that. What can we learn from Filipinos in Ventura?
Well, that they took care of each other in the community. Yes, they were business owners, but they were also, I said, advocates for each other, so supporting each other's organizations, you know, scholarships. And basically, like today, there are over 20 organizations in Ventura County that have basically started from the one that I mentioned, like in the early 1920s.
Okay.
So it really has just kind of flourished.
Right, right. You may be saying that it flourished, but also at the same time, sometimes, you know, some organizations duplicate efforts, and so it becomes more of a waste than really something that's more productive, correct?
Well, I think they all have different sort of missions in terms of if it's education or if it's professional. But in the end goal, the ultimate mission is really to educate about Filipino-American history and Filipinos.
Right, and to be more
culture.
Visible. Correct. And that's
visibility.
What you do as a librarian and an author as well?
Yes, I'm a librarian and assistant professor at Cal State Channel Islands. And when I did the book, it was not only just for the purpose of collecting photographs for the book, but it was also to establish an image collection at our library for student research and faculty research. And what I'm most proud of is that this collection is giving visibility to Filipinos and their contributions. And in particular, the California State Library has decided to digitize our collection for Calisphere and the Online Archive of California. So further statewide visibility with this collection as well.
That's very good. Okay, very quickly, because we're running out of time. What is the greatest contribution, do you think, of Filipinos in Ventura to, American society?
I think basically inspiring that, everyone has an American dream, and basically coming here with humble beginnings, sharing their values of education and educating their children, and really giving back to their community and being an activist.
Very well said. Being involved in the community. And where can we get a copy of the book?
The copy of the book is available on Amazon.com. Also, we have an exhibit at the library, and it runs until January 31st. And the John Sporbroom Library at Cal State Channel Islands.
Good, and that's the information on the screen. If you need more details, that's the website to check out. Thank you so much, and more power to you.
Thank you.
Magbabalik po ang Kababayan LA. Don't go away.